Welcome to Third Shift Archives, where nightmares don't clock out. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
In the world of the paranormal, few names are as feared as Annabelle. A doll so infamous, priests refuse to touch her. She's locked behind blessed glass, sealed with holy water, and hidden away from the living. But in 2025, she was taken on tour. Thousands lined up to see her, to tempt fate, and one man, Dan Rivera, was tasked with protecting her. Days later, he was found dead. Was it coincidence? Or had Annabelle claimed another victim? Tonight, we uncover the full story of Annabelle's deadly road trip and the mysterious death that followed. Annabelle's story begins in the early 1970s. Two nurses living together received a seemingly innocent Raggedy Ann doll as a gift. Within weeks, they noticed it would change positions on its own, arms crossed, legs folded, moved to another room entirely. They found notes on parchment reading, "Help us," though neither owned parchment paper. Guests reported feeling watched, scratched, and in one case nearly strangled in their sleep. Ed and Lorraine Warren, the famed paranormal investigators, declared Annabelle a vessel for something demonic. Not a ghost, not a spirit, but something darker. They placed her in a specially built glass case with a sign that read, "Warning, positively do not open." Priests blessed her case weekly. Visitors were told never to taunt her. Some didn't listen. One biker visiting the Warren Occult Museum laughed at the doll and banged on the glass. Hours later, he died in a motorcycle accident. For over 50 years, Annabelle sat in that museum locked away, until 2025, when the case was unsealed, and she was put on the road for the first time. The Devils on the Run tour was billed as the most dangerous paranormal exhibition ever assembled. It featured cursed mirrors, haunted paintings, and the centerpiece, Annabelle. For the first time in decades, she left Connecticut, traveling to theaters, hotels, and convention centers across the country. Her case was bolted shut, climate-controlled, and watched by cameras and guards around the clock. Dan Rivera, a respected paranormal investigator with more than a decade of field experience, was the handler assigned to her case. Rivera was no stranger to hauntings. He'd been scratched, pushed, and terrified before, but he reportedly told a colleague something unsettling. She doesn't like being moved. Multiple visitors to the exhibit reported their electronics dying as they neared Annabelle. Others claimed to hear tapping from inside her case. Some even swore they saw her head turn ever so slightly. Staff brushed these off as nerves and suggestion, but Rivera wasn't so sure. On July 13, 2025, during the Albuquerque leg of the tour, Dan Rivera checked into his hotel around 10:45 p.m. Witnesses described him as unusually quiet, pale and distracted. At 2:40 a.m., security footage captured him pacing the hallway, glancing over his shoulder repeatedly as if hearing something behind him. At 3:15 a.m., his phone began recording an audio clip by itself. The sound is faint but chilling. 3 knocks, static, and what some swear is the giggle of a young girl. Hours later, Rivera was found dead in his bed. The Bible on his nightstand lay open to Psalm 23. "Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil." A crucifix rested tightly in his hand. The official cause of death: sudden cardiac arrest. Rivera had no known health issues, no signs of struggle, and no toxins in his system. His colleagues, however, remain unconvinced. One fellow investigator revealed anonymously, "Dan told me, right before he died, that he heard scratching from Annabelle's case. He said it felt like someone was watching him all night." Was Dan Rivera's death a tragic coincidence, or another victim of Annabelle's curse? Believers point to a long history of misfortune tied to the doll. Accidents, deaths, and sudden illnesses among those who disrespected or mishandled her. Skeptics attribute it to fear, stress, and suggestion, anxiety manifesting as physical symptoms. Annabelle isn't the only object with such a reputation. Robert the Doll in Florida, the Crying Boy paintings in England, and countless others have been tied to decades of tragedy. Even skeptics admit, when patterns of misfortune surround an object for decades, it raises questions science can't easily answer. Some even suggest Rivera's death could be tied to a chain of events: the opening of Annabelle's case, the energy of thousands of visitors, and the disruption of her decades-long containment. Dan Rivera believed in the paranormal, but he was fearless. Until Annabelle. His death remains unexplained, his last recording unnerving and his warnings chilling. Whether you believe in curses or call it coincidence, Annabelle's legend continues to grow. And for those who seek her out, the question remains, will they all walk away unharmed? If you enjoy deep dives into true horror and mysteries like this, make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and leave us a comment with your theory. Was Dan Rivera cursed? Or was it all just fear and fate?